For as long as most of us can remember, milk has been sold as the ultimate health drink. Got milk? Ads with celebrities sporting white mustaches told us it builds unbreakable bones, helps kids shoot up like weeds, and keeps grandparents spry. Schools poured it at every lunch. Doctors recommended it. It felt almost unpatriotic to question the stuff. The truth nobody put on the billboard? Almost none of the milk in the dairy case today deserves the name. What we're sold now is a triumph of marketing and food engineering, not nature. Whether it's labeled organic, ultra-filtered, grass-fed, or even raw in some cases, the vast majority has been tweaked, fortified, sweetened, stabilized, or stripped apart and reassembled in ways your grandparents would never recognize. Extra sugars, gums, carrageenan, natural flavors, and lab-made vitamins get slipped in so quietly you'd need a chemistry degree to spot them all. Pound for pound, some of these ultra-processed milks trigger more inflammation and insulin chaos than a can of soda ever could. And they're still marketed as health food. It's not that milk itself is evil. It's that the real thing has been quietly replaced by a highly profitable imposter. If you've been pouring milk on your cereal or into your coffee for decades, don't worry. There's still time to kick the habit that's been quietly hurting you. In this video, I'm pulling the curtain back on 15 big-name milk brands that belong nowhere near your fridge. But I'm not just here to scare you. I'm going to show you exactly what real, honest-to-goodness milk looks like and point you toward the few options that are genuinely safe, especially if you're over 50 and want to protect your bones, your gut, and your metabolism instead of wrecking them. Stick with me to the end. What you're about to learn will flip everything you thought you knew about that carton in your kitchen. In 2025, milk has quietly become the most heavily doctored, overhyped, and straight-up counterfeit health food on the planet. And once you see the evidence, you'll never look at the dairy aisle the same way again. Picture this: a frosty glass of milk next to a plate of cookies, the poster child for strong bones and growing kids. Or maybe you think of your grandma starting every morning with a tall pour because it's good for the hips. That's the image we've all been sold since kindergarten. But here's the gut punch. Almost every drop of milk you buy today is secretly working against you. Go back 70 years. Milk came straight from a local herd, got lightly pasteurized if at all, and showed up on your porch still warm from the cow. Simple, honest, done. Fast forward to the grocery aisles of 2025 and you're looking at a science project in a carton. The milk gets blasted with ultra-high heat, run through microfilters that strip out everything natural, then rebuilt with powdered vitamins, thickeners, gums, and flavor enhancers, so it can sit unrefrigerated for half a year. They slap feel-good buzzwords on the front: organic, A2, lactose-free, protein-packed, while the fine print on the back reads like a chemistry textbook. Bottom line, we're not drinking milk anymore. We're drinking a hyper-engineered, ultra-processed liquid that wears milk's face like a Halloween mask. The craziest part is that most people never notice. Decades of got milk ads and smiling celebrities trained us to see the carton and feel patriotic, not suspicious. Question the dairy aisle and you're treated like you just insulted apple pie. The truth is, once you start reading labels instead of believing slogans, you'll realize the wholesome drink we grew up loving has been quietly replaced by one of the sneakiest ultra-processed foods on the planet. Here's the thing. This stopped being about nutrition a long time ago. Now it's a straight-up con job dressed up in clever packaging. High-protein milk, A2 milk, Fairlife, ultra-filtered, fortified oat, or almond junk. They're all just different costumes worn by the same factory pipeline. I've got zero beef with real milk. What burns me is the bait and switch where they take a processed slurry, jacket full of additives, and dare call it better than ever. The worst part, the people getting played hardest are folks over 60, the exact crowd the ads target with those heart-tugging commercials about strong bones and healthy aging. At that age, your gut's already slower, absorption isn't what it used to be, and inflammation loves to flare up. Dump a bunch of added gums, sweeteners, and synthetic vitamins on top of that, and you're basically pouring gasoline on the fire. More insulin spikes, more cholesterol chaos, more bloating and discomfort. They're not selling health. They're selling nostalgia and hope in a carton while quietly making the problem worse. That's not just bad marketing. That's predatory. Look, I'm not some anti-dairy crusader trying to rip your cereal bowl out of your hands. I still believe real milk, straight from a healthy cow, and handled right, can be a solid food. But in 2025, finding that real milk in the grocery store is like hunting for an honest politician at a fundraiser. What sits on most shelves has been faked 6 ways from Sunday: doctored ingredients, exaggerated health claims, and a mountain of slick advertising that would make a used car salesman blush. If you give a damn about what you put in your body, and especially if you're buying milk for your kids or your parents, stick around. Starting right now, I'm walking you through the 15 biggest offenders in the dairy case. The brands that look wholesome on the outside, but are absolute train wrecks once you know what's really inside. You deserve to know which cartons to leave on the shelf and which few are actually worth your money. Let's get into brands to avoid. Number 1, Fairlife. If you want a perfect poster child for looks healthy but ain't your grandma's milk, Fairlife wins the crown every time. You walk past those sleek bottles with the artsy cow silhouette and think, man, this stuff must be next level. Then you find out it's owned by Coca-Cola, the same folks who built a global empire convincing people that liquid candy is happiness in a can. Yeah, the soda giant is now in charge of your premium milk. Let that sink in. Here's what actually happens inside those bottles. They take regular milk, run it through an ultrafiltration gauntlet that rips it into 5 separate streams: water, protein, minerals, fat, and lactose. They toss most of the lactose, fine, yank out a bunch of water, crank the protein way up, then start playing Frankenstein. They splash some of the fat back in, dump in lab-made vitamins, and sometimes even a touch of monk fruit sweetener or other flavor enhancers. Legally, it's still called milk. Realistically, it's a protein-fortified, lactose-free, factory-rebuilt beverage wearing a milk costume. Coca-Cola didn't reinvent milk. They just cocaified it. Your body doesn't care how fancy the bottle looks. For thousands of years, humans drank milk that came straight from a cow, got a quick pasteurization at most, and that was it. Now picture slamming a 70-year-old digestive system, one that's already running on slower enzymes, a touchier gut, and kidneys that don't filter like they did at 30, with a drink that's been torn apart molecule by molecule and glued back together in a factory. All that extra concentrated protein sounds great on the label, but if your body can't break it down and use it properly, it just turns into metabolic trash your liver and kidneys have to work overtime to clean up. More isn't better when your hardware can't handle the upgrade. Then there's the stuff most ads conveniently forget to mention. Some of the mega farms feeding Fairlife's supply chain have been busted for leaking cattle waste into groundwater. Think millions of gallons of manure runoff. That's not some fringe conspiracy. It's been documented in investigations and lawsuits. When the water table under the farm is polluted, guess what ends up in trace amounts in the milk you pour into your coffee? Clean milk starts with clean water. Period. Bottom line, and this is the big takeaway from Fairlife, just because something costs $8 a half gallon, comes in a space-age bottle, and screams 50% more protein, 50% less sugar, doesn't make it a smart choice once you're over 60. Flashy tech and a higher price tag can actually be warning signs, not badges of honor. Your body wants food, not a science experiment. Number 2, Prairie Farms. Prairie Farms is one of those names you see in the dairy case and automatically feel good about. Midwestern, family farmer vibes, been around forever. A lot of folks over 60 grab it without a second thought because it's the brand we've always bought. That kind of blind trust is exactly what can bite you when corners get cut behind the scenes. Fast forward to late 2024, Prairie Farms had to yank thousands of cartons of skim milk off shelves in multiple states because an Iowa plant accidentally let food-grade sanitizers, think the heavy-duty stuff used to scrub the tanks, mix into the final product. Yeah, those chemicals are approved for cleaning equipment, but they sure aren't meant to be swallowed every morning with your oatmeal. For younger bodies, that might just mean a stomach ache. For seniors whose gut enzymes are already winding down, even tiny amounts can inflame the intestinal lining, mess with nutrient absorption, and let junk build up that your liver and kidneys used to handle without breaking a sweat. And here's the part that really stings. This wasn't a one-off fluke. Back in 2020, Prairie Farms recalled chocolate milk because it wasn't properly declaring allergens. Life-threatening for some people. They've also had milkshakes pulled over listeria scares. When the same company keeps tripping over the same kind of problems year after year, that's not bad luck. That's a red flag waving that quality control isn't what it used to be. Familiar doesn't mean safe, and the brand mom trusted can turn into the one that sends you to the ER if you don't start paying attention. Number 3, Raw Farm. You've probably seen the videos. Beautiful people on TikTok or Instagram chugging straight from the cow raw milk while claiming it's going to supercharge their immune system and make them ancestral again. One influencer even live-streamed herself downing a big glass on camera. 7 days later, she was in the hospital fighting for her life against E. coli. Yeah, not exactly the glow-up she was expecting. Here's the part the influencers conveniently leave out. Raw milk is never pasteurized, so any nasty bugs the cow picked up, E. coli, Salmonella, Listeria, Campylobacter, and now even bird flu virus, H5N1, are still alive and partying in that bottle. The CDC and FDA have been sounding the alarm for years, but the online wellness crowd keeps calling it nature's perfect food. One of the biggest brands pushing the raw milk lifestyle is Raw Farm, formerly Organic Pastures. They've built an empire on the whole pure and untouched story. Yet in 2024, their milk tested positive for H5N1 bird flu and got yanked off shelves nationwide. And that's not a one-time oops. They've had multiple recalls over the years for salmonella and other dangerous bacteria. Bottom line, natural doesn't automatically mean safe. Milk straight from the udder might sound romantic when you're 25 and invincible, but the second you, or your kid, or your grandma end up on IV antibiotics because of a trendy glass of milk, the romance disappears real quick. Number 4, Dream Rice Milk. Look, I get it. Cow's milk gets a bad rap these days, so a ton of us reach for those pretty cartons of rice milk thinking we're making the healthy choice. Spoiler alert, we're not. Rice milk is basically sugar water dressed up in a health halo. Take the bestseller, Dream Rice Milk, for example. 1 cup gives you less than 1 gram of protein. Your morning oatmeal has more than that, but slams you with 13 plus grams of sugar, almost all of it coming from broken down rice starch and added sweeteners. For comparison, that's about the same sugar rush you'd get from a couple of Oreos, except the Oreos at least have some fat to slow the spike. So instead of swapping out milk's natural protein and healthy fats for something nourishing, you're basically pouring sweetened rice runoff plus a splash of cheap vegetable oil over your cereal. It's not milk. It's a dessert masquerading as breakfast. Your blood sugar will hate you, your muscles won't get fed, and 10 years from now, your doctor is going to ask why your insulin resistance showed up to the party. If you're ditching dairy, cool. Just pick something that actually has protein and doesn't taste like liquid birthday cake. Your body deserves better than expensive starch water. Number 5, Meadow Gold. Dairy Meadow Gold has been around forever. Your grandma probably drank it, your dad probably drank it, and now it's the chocolate milk handed out in Hawaii's school cafeterias. That multi-generational, we've always trusted this brand vibe is exactly what makes the latest news so infuriating. In early 2025, tens of thousands of those little Meadow Gold chocolate milk cartons had to be yanked from schools after kids started throwing up, clutching their stomachs, and running to the bathroom all day. Turns out the milk was contaminated with bacteria that cause exactly those lovely symptoms. For a healthy kid, it's a miserable 48 hours. For seniors or anyone with a weaker immune system, the same bug can spiral into dehydration, kidney issues, or worse. Just because a brand has been on the shelf since the Eisenhower administration doesn't mean it's magically safe today. Nostalgia is a terrible food safety inspector. Our kids and our grandparents deserve better than gambling on "it's always been fine before." Number 6, Horizon Organic. You see that little green USDA organic sticker on a carton of Horizon milk, and your brain instantly thinks, safe, pure, worth the extra $4. That's the power of the word organic. It's basically a trust shortcut. Problem is, shortcuts can lead you straight off a cliff. Horizon, the biggest name in organic milk, has been caught multiple times for stuff that makes you raise an eyebrow. Sneaking in non-organic algae oil for DHA, factory-style organic farms where cows barely saw a blade of grass, despite the legal pasture requirement, and repeated lawsuits from watchdog groups calling them out. Then, right at the end of 2024, they had to recall thousands of gallons because the milk was going bad way before the date on the carton. For most of us, spoiled milk is just a gross surprise in our coffee. For seniors or anyone with a touchy gut, it can mean days of cramping, diarrhea, and inflammation that knocks them flat. Bottom line, a fancy label isn't a force field. Even the king of organic dairy keeps proving that organic on the outside doesn't always mean clean and careful on the inside. Blind trust is expensive, and lately it's been making people sick. Number 7, A2 milk. A2 milk sounds like the holy grail. We took out the one bad protein, A1 casein, that supposedly messes with your stomach, so now milk is finally safe for everyone. Cool story, but it's still regular milk minus one thing. All the lactose is still in there, along with every other natural milk compound. Some folks do feel less bloated, great for them, but the big scientific reviews keep saying the same thing. There's zero solid proof A2 is magically safer or healthier for the population at large. The real problem isn't the milk itself, it's the halo effect. A2's marketing is so slick that millions of people, especially seniors trying to keep dairy in their diet, chug it every single day like it's doctor-approved medicine. They ignore the cramps, the gas, the occasional loose stools because, hey, it's A2, it's supposed to be gentle. Spoiler, if your body doesn't handle dairy well, switching letters on the carton won't fix it. Listen, if A2 genuinely makes you feel better, awesome, keep drinking it. But don't bet your golden years on a marketing claim and pretend warning signals from your own gut are just coincidence. Blind faith in a label can turn a small problems into big ones. Fast. Number 8, Stonyfield Farm. Stonyfield slaps every feel-good buzzword on the package. 100% organic, packed with probiotics, non-GMO, grass-fed cows doing yoga on rolling green hills. You pick up a strawberry yogurt or one of those drinkable bottles and think, this has to be healthy. Then you flip it over and see the second ingredient is straight-up cane sugar, followed by a chemistry set lineup of gums, locust bean, ghelin, and carrageenan, stuff repeatedly linked to gut inflammation and IBS flare-ups. Here's the part that should make you mad. Those live probiotics they brag about can't outrun the damage done by 12-15 grams of added sugar plus irritant thickeners in a single serving. It's like mopping the floor during a hurricane. For kids and 20-somethings, it might just mean a sugar crash. For folks over 60, whose digestion is already slower and more fragile, that healthy yogurt can trigger days of bloating, cramping, and bathroom emergencies they'll blame on getting old instead of the carton in their fridge. Moral of the story, a cow on the label and the word probiotic don't cancel out dessert-level sugar and gut-poking additives. If you're buying yogurt for actual health, especially as you get older, go plain, full fat, and read the ingredients like your comfort depends on it, because it does. Number 9. Saputo Dairy. Saputo isn't some little family creamery. It's one of the biggest dairy corporations on the planet, pumping out cheese, milk, and yogurt on an industrial scale from Canada to California. That massive footprint looks efficient on a spreadsheet, but it also means one single screw-up at one giant plant can send listeria-laced products to thousands of stores overnight. And Saputo has done exactly that, multiple times, triggering sweeping listeria recalls across North America in recent years. For most of us, a recall is an annoying trip back to the grocery store. For seniors whose immune systems aren't what they used to be, eating even a bite of that contaminated brie or string cheese can spiral into fever, sepsis, or worse. When you're buying the cheapest store-brand block of mozzarella, you might not realize Saputo's name is behind it, but your 80-year-old dad's life could still be riding on their quality control roulette. Bigger doesn't always mean safer. Sometimes it just means the blast radius is a whole lot larger. Number 10. Better Goods, non-dairy. Walk down the dairy aisle and every almond, oat, and pea milk carton screams heart healthy and cholesterol-free in big happy letters. Flip it over though, and the ingredient list reads like a science project. Sunflower oil, cane sugar, ghelin gum, locust bean gum, natural flavors, and a dozen other additives designed to make watery seed juice feel creamy. What you won't find: pretty much any protein, most clock in at 1 lonely gram per cup. So we ditch real milk or real food, thinking we're doing our arteries a favor, then wonder why we're bloated, gassy, and suddenly losing muscle tone after 60. Newsflash: without protein coming in every single day, your body starts cannibalizing your own muscles and bones to stay alive. All those fancy gums and oils can also wreck your gut microbiome, which is already more fragile as you age. One healthy swap can quietly kick off a decade of sarcopenia and fractures you'll blame on just getting old. Bottom line: if it needs 10 ingredients to taste like milk, it's not a health food. It's dessert with good PR. If you're going non-dairy, at least pick one with real protein, or add it somewhere else. Your muscles, bones, and gut will thank you when you're 75 and still hiking with your grandkids. Number 11, milk, ultralight plant milks. You grab a carton that proudly says just oats and water, or only almonds and filtered H2O, thinking you finally found the cleanest, purest option on the shelf. Sounds great until you realize it's basically flavored water with a sprinkle of starch for body. 1 cup gives you 100 empty calories, almost zero protein, zero complete amino acids, and a big fat nothing when it comes to the dense nutrition your body starts begging for after 60. By the time we hit our 60s and 70s, we're already fighting muscle loss, brittle bones, and slower healing. Swapping real food for expensive oat water means we're running on fumes exactly when we can't afford to. Those minimalist plant milks might be clean, but they're also nutritionally bankrupt. Your aging body doesn't need simplicity, it needs substance. Drink that stuff if you want, but don't kid yourself. It's a beverage, not a meal replacement, and it sure as hell won't keep you strong when gravity and time start winning. Number 12. Western Milk Producers Association co-op sourcing might sound efficient, but it's a recipe for inconsistency. A single sloppy farm in the pool can drag down the quality of the entire batch. And as a buyer, you're left completely in the dark about exactly where your product came from. Number 13. Dairy Gold. Dairy Gold slaps the same trusted name on everything from top-shelf dairy to the cheapest bulk stuff. That cozy brand loyalty feels great until you remember recent recalls pulled products off shelves because of metal fragments and plastic bits. When one umbrella covers both premium and bargain basement quality, a little familiarity can blind you to some very real risks. Number 14. HP Hood. HP Hood basically sells engineered milk, ultra-pasteurized, homogenized, and tweaked to sit on a shelf for months while staying perfectly consistent and cheap to ship. Taste, nutrients, and actual freshness take a backseat to logistics. Good luck finding out which farms the milk even came from. That info is buried deeper than the cream they skimmed off. Number 15. Great Value. Great Value milk is built for one thing: rock-bottom prices on the supermarket shelf. They stretch shelf life as far as it'll go, pull from whoever's cheapest that week, and yeah, the complaint boards light up with off tastes, watery texture, and upset stomachs. Sure, it's cheap at the register, but when the real bill shows up in how you feel afterward, that bargain starts looking pretty expensive. How to recognize real milk after 60. You do not need food science training. Remember 3 principles. Milk must be pasteurized. Choose transparent brands. Simple milk is best. No ultra, no excess fortification. Most importantly, observe your body. If something feels wrong, stop. Don't forget to subscribe to Smart Senior Living for practical wellness tips, simple routines, and smart everyday advice to help you stay healthy, safe, and confident, one step at a time. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Subscribe to Smart Senior Living and join our community, because living well gets easier when we do it together.